Hi there. Have you ever had a situation where, a whole lot of situations where things have not gone the way that you planned and you feel like you're up to your eyeballs in manure? I want to really encourage you because your promise is in your mess. So many different testimonies throughout the scriptures show us that your promise is in your mess. In the midst of the mess, there is always a promise. Will you look to see where it is? We all know that Romans 8:28 promises us. It literally says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. I want to encourage you. There's quite a silly, sort of like nearly a joke that I'll often utilize for teaching when it comes to this sort of thing. And that's the story of the two twins and how they had a different reaction to the same set of circumstances. So hopefully you can hear the metaphor in the midst of it. These two young twin boys were both given a stable with a whole lot of manure, horse manure inside, a big pile of horse manure. So you can imagine that's like our life circumstances sometimes. One boy sat down and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed and said, I can't believe I've ended up with all of this horse manure. He just couldn't see any promise in the midst of the mess. Whereas his twin brother was in his stable digging frantically through all a mess. And when he was asked, what do you think you are doing? He said, with all this horse manure, there's got to be a horse in here somewhere. So I want to encourage you with if you're in the middle of a season where there's a lot of horse manure, where a whole lot of challenging things are actually taking place in your world, be encouraged. Start to look for the horse. Start to look, pardon me, for the promise in the midst of the mess. You will find that whatever it is that you have journeyed through, if you can see through the lens of heaven's perspective, you will see that God is starting to refine you and help you find a restorative element in what you have gone through. He does not cause sickness, He does not cause nasty things to happen to you. However, when those sorts of things happen to you or your loved ones, what He does do is He redeems it. He redeems the time, He redeems the pain, and He causes it to become one of those things in our life. If we will just see it through His lens, it'll end up becoming one of those things in life that ends up showing the goodness of God. Those places where we've really been challenged will actually show us where sometimes our promise actually is. I know I've been through many different challenges over many different years, and within each one of them, there has been goodness, there has been God's hand guiding me. I have a wonderful friend who knows someone who is currently going through a bit of a challenge, and she has literally said, "I can see God's hand moving this person from A to B to prepare them for what's next in their life." Sometimes God needs to move us out of a situation where we are, and the best way for Him to do that is sometimes just to tip us out. That literally happened to me when, a number of years ago in business, I got tipped out of a situation and became a full time mum. And the blessings that happened through that betrayal was. I couldn't see it at the time, but I now look back and I realized what a blessing it was. I was able to be home with my children, even though the betrayal was not God's will. It isn't how He wanted this other person to treat me, but he did actually cause great goodness to flow forth from that situation. So can you see your promise in the midst of your mess? Whatever it is that you are challenged by, start to look for the things, the little things that you can be grateful for, because gratitude will determine your altitude in this season. Gratitude is a superpower when it comes to kingdom currency. The other thing that I would say is that it's also where God has his vengeance. I mean, he does say, I will have my vengeance. He doesn't say, I will let you have your vengeance. He says, I will have my vengeance. So it's not the people who are. It's not the people who are the enemy. It's the spiritual entities that are motivating those people that are the enemy. We've got to see those people through the lens of love. So, but what he actually does is God then says, "Let me deal with it." I can remember during that season, it was 21 years ago, 21 plus years ago, to be 22 years ago this February. I can remember in the midst of this season, I was like, God, this is so unfair. It's so painful. It was so hurtful, and actually, the pain levels. I just thought the only thing that would have been worse in this situation, in the form of a betrayal, would have been my husband to have betrayed me in our marriage, which he never has. But that's the only next level that it would have been. And I can remember God showing me a picture. He said, if you don't step aside, I'm going to have to go through you to get to them. And as I raised my children, I started to really understand that if a child will not allow you to be the parent and will not step away from the situation so that you can then parent the child that needs to be parented, you have to deal with that child that won't shift out of the way first. So he basically said to me, I'm going to have to go through you to get to them. So step away. And so I actually in that season, I learned to step away, step to the side, and let him deal with it. I now understand that Proverbs 6:31, 6:31, Proverbs 6:31 promises us a sevenfold payback on all that has been stolen, on all that has been stolen by the enemy, wherever it might be: time, sickness, finances, relationships, whatever it might be. There's a sevenfold payback coming if we'll just trust God, to not understand everything that's going on, but just trust him that he has us in hand. Because we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him and who have been called according to his purpose. Now, there's that second aspect of Romans 8:28. Are you in the place where you are called according to his purpose? Whereabouts have you been placed? Whereabouts are you? If you know that you are in the sphere of influence that you're being called to, and you've got the right timing, then you know that he's actually going to cause all things to work together for good, because you are called according to his purpose in that set of circumstances. So are you going to be the twin are you going to be the twin that only sees the horse manure, or are you going to be the twin who sees the horse underneath that big pile of manure? And I mean, that's really the question for us all. So it's just something that I was thinking about this morning, and I thought I'm going to jump on and go live with that little bit of encouragement. Andy Bear, I love that. In this world, we will have troubles, but take heart, I have overcome. You're right. It's absolutely true. He is absolutely good all the time. So I think it's really important to understand that. You've got it, Andy Bear. You've definitely got it. A shout out to Anthony, Christine. I think it's Christina as well. Just want to shout out to all of you. We've just finished. Also, just my news, we've just closed the door to the prophetic mastery training, but I reckon that the team probably hasn't shut the doors yet. So if you want to jump on, you might just sneak through before we close the doors. But in the meantime, I want to say, Andy, your name really is jumping out to me. I don't know if you did the training just recently. We prophesied over names, but Andy Bear. The saying, the Australian saying, we talk about koala bears. We say, how much was it? How much can a koala bear? I want to say you have an incredible capacity. I actually see you as someone who has very broad shoulders, and you have walked through the fiery furnace a number of times, and you have proven yourself to be good and true and noble. I actually Ooh, I actually see you as a beautiful silver that's been refined in the fires. You know how silver has to be melted and all the impurities come to the surface and then get gently scraped out. You've allowed God to do that, and I want to honor you for that. Well done for allowing him to do that. Andy. And I want to say that as you continue to walk with integrity, I actually posted on someone else's uh, um, post yesterday. People of integrity allow time to prove who they are. Andy, keep walking. The weight that you'll have to bear will not be unbearable ever. I mean, I know that you know that you do have very broad shoulders, but I think that what he's done is he's caused you to have those broad shoulders so that, like, the Dutch women who used to carry buckets of water on their shoulder, I feel that you are called to carry refreshing for others. What you've been through will become a testimony, and your testimony will become not just a place where you had a test and you moaned, testimony. You didn't do the moany moany, but you actually went, no, but for the goodness of God, I wouldn't be standing. And you can see what an incredible job he's done. You will then take those testimonies that you have now gathered together and you will pour them out as a form of refreshment upon the body of Christ. And people will say, you know what, Andy, thank you. Thank you for sharing your journey. I'm grateful for you. I can see that there's a pathway through for me too. So just, I hope that that resonates. Let me know, Andy, because we're all accountable for prophetic words. So it's always good to know if that has been a word that resonates for you. Anyway, hey, Becky, Becky's just joined us on prophetic in our prophetic mastery. I'm so looking forward to seeing you in person tomorrow. We'll catch you soon. Thank you so much, Andy. And we'll catch you soon. I might pop on tomorrow. We'll see how I get on. Anyway, lots of love, and we will catch you soon. Oh, Glenda, hello from Central Canada. Yay. I've always wanted to go to Canada. Hello, hello, hello. So I think that you're a very, very good one. You sparkle with the best of them, Glenda. So don't feel like you have been lost in the fray. I know I'm name playing with your name, but don't forget that God's got you. You haven't been lost in the fray. He's allowing you to get mixed in amongst all of it so that you can come out more shiny. And when you do come out more shiny, you're going to stand tall amongst the giants of your land. Keep praying. Keep praying. Your prayers are affecting change, Glenda. Do not grow weary in doing good. I just want to really encourage you, Glenda. Keep shining. You are a shiny one. And Lindsay O'Connor, I don't know if you're musical or not. The person who comes to mind is a beautiful friend of mine who had the same surname. He was a very gentle one, a very kind one. He was a quiet musician. I actually think that it's the gentle side that is being highlighted for me when it comes to you, Lindsay. And what I would like to say to you is that the way that you have been hardwired is beautiful. Don't ever apologize for being you. The gentleness that you walk with, I have a feeling that you might be like a gentle one, even perhaps, like an extroverted introvert, if you know what I mean. So a highly sensitive personality type in the best of ways. It's actually a gift. It's not a burden being an HSP. And it's not anything weird. It's just the way that we're wired up. But I'd say to you, Lindsay, that from what I can see, not only do you have something that you do need to say, and I think that you need to get out the pen of the ready writer and start to write what you need to say, but I think that you're going to say it with a kindness and a sweetness that's going to resonate into the hearts of the gentle ones. So I want to encourage you, if that's accurate in particular, arise and shine, let your light be seen. Anyway, we will see you all, those that I just released prophetic encouragements over. Love your feedback. Always up for feedback. Becky, can't wait to see you tomorrow. So I'm looking at my phone at the moment because I'm streaming into Instagram as well as Facebook and YouTube. Anyway, you know what? Follow along, subscribe. We'll be doing teachings and prophetic encouragements and telling God is good stories on a regular basis here. It's where I release a lot of my free training and resources. So keep an eye out, and we will catch you really soon. Oh, thank you, Lindsay. It's fantastic. All right, Instagram. See you soon. Bye for now. And I'm so glad, Lindsay, that that was spot on. So I just had that feeling. So, Glenda, we'll see you tomorrow. If I manage to get on, I've got a lot on tomorrow morning, but with the prophetic mastery, and then there's a few other calls that I've got. But absolutely, all right. Well, we'll catch you soon. Bye for now. Much love.